Why do you have to take the skins off?
Because you don't make a pie with apple skins on them.
Okay.
And I don't really know why. It's just how my grandma did it.
And why do you cut the core out?
Because you get more apple if you slice it in half, quarter it, and then you cut this part out because you can't eat that.
I understand you can't eat the seeds, but what's wrong with the rest of the core?
You're only cutting out the seeds.
So how many apples does it take to make a pie?
Well, we're going to use 8
8 apples.
medium apples.
Medium-sized apples. So here in the pan is 8 medium-sized apples cut up. And what all are you going to put in this?
I'm going to add Splenda.
Splenda.
Raisins. I'll cook it for a while. Add some.
You use Splenda instead of sugar,
Yeah,
right?
it's sugar-free.
And you're going to add raisins?
And then cook this for a while. And put cornstarch in it to make a thickening. I'm going to make the pie crust and put it in the pie crust.
No, unfortunately, we had to buy the raisins.
I'm just going to cook this really slow for a little bit. Not going to cook it done because I don't want the apples to be mushy.
Okay, now with raisins, and which was about 12-ounce box of raisins she just put in.
I just guessed.
And 8 medium-sized apples. How much Splenda will you put in it?
To the taste. I'm just going to taste it.
Okay. So you add it as you're cooking it?
Yeah, it's the person's taste. How sweet they want it. Maybe I won't even hardly use any because the apples were sweet. They're naturally sweet.
Okay, it's now put on the stove, and we just got it on low right now. About, looks like about 3 on our scale. And I'm just going to watch it and cook it. Now, will you stir this as you're cooking it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Did you have to add any water?
I took water out.
Took water out?
The apples are juicy, and you don't want that to be real juicy. It'll run out all over the apple and all over the oven. And the pie will be too wet. So you don't want it to be real juicy. It'll ruin your pie crust. It'll make it soggy.
Okay. Just need to stir it. And they're all soft, but there's still some texture to the apple. She told me that's what she wanted, so it's done. And we turned it off. I'm just going to let it sit there while we make the crust. Now you're getting ready to make the dough?
Yeah, and I don't measure, like I said, but if you use 2/3 cup of shortening, 2 cups of flour, 5 tablespoons of cold water, it'll usually make 2 pie crust.
Okay. Why cold water?
Well, the dough just does better. It sets up better with the cold water.
Okay. So, got Crisco in there, and...
Well, I use whatever shortening I have.
Okay. So shortening. And then you got a cold bottle of water.
And I keep my flour in the freezer.
The flour in the freezer?
Yes.
Why?
Because pie crust does better with cold water, cold ingredients.
Okay, now the apple and raisins. That's our filling. You're dumping it in. And well, it looks like that was just about right.
Yep.
Now, will you put a crust over top of this one or not?
Yes.
got to make up more?
We got it right here in the bowl.
Okay, so you only used half of what we made.
Right.
Okay, now we'll put the pie in the oven, and it's on 380 degrees, and we'll just keep watching, and when the top turns brown, it should be done. Now while we're waiting on that pie to cook, I've cut up 4 more large apples, and I'm going to cut them smaller this time. Cut them up the same way we did for the pie, but just cut them up smaller. Put them in a little thing. We're going to cook those down. We're going to try to make either applesauce or apple crisp. I'm not sure yet. Okay, dumping them in my cook pot. And now, how do I know how much water to put in these? Okay, with 4 large apples, I'm going to start with this glass.
It's about a 1/3 cup of water.
You can see, I guess, about a 1/3 cup, and that's what we're going to start with.
Yep.
Now, what's the danger of getting too much water?
You'll have soupy applesauce.
Very soupy. Okay, and we're going to cook this slow like we did on the other one.
You're going to add sugar and cinnamon to it while you're cooking.
And I like cinnamon, so we're going to add some cinnamon. And we're going to add the Splenda again. I'm going to measure my stuff out just a little bit here. So we're going to put about a 1/2 cup of Splenda sprinkled around the top. And again, we'll taste it just to see. Do you think that's not enough or too much Splenda? Grandma Rita?
I think that's fine.
Okay, for this we're going to add just a little bit of nutmeg also. And I think that's plenty. Checking on the pie, not brown yet. And let's come up here and check on our applesauce. I did turn the heat up just a little bit. And it's still cooking away. Our applesauce is still cooking, and it is cooking. So we just keep stirring it and keep letting it cook down. Now we could keep cooking and get it all down to a good texture. However, I like mine just a little chunky, so I'm gonna. It's getting there, but I'm going to leave it. It's all soft. It would smash easy, but just small little soft chunks, so to speak, is the way I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to turn my heat off and let it dump it into a pan and let it cool down a little bit. Or you could eat it hot. Okay, now for the test. We're going to test it. Good. Very good. Not too sweet. It's good. Like that applesauce?
Yes, it's good.
Apple pie is done. Looks good.